one of the most valuable things would, if they can, get some time working in another established practice to start with. There's a significant jump from working in a controlled college clinic environment to working in private enterprise. And there's nothing quite like taking the opportunity, whether it be some volunteer work or some observation time in an established practice, to see what really goes on at the coalface. Definitely to find a mentor would be one of the most valuable things they can do. Well, when I started out, one of the biggest shocks was you finish your course and you realise, hang on, I've got to be a businessman now. And when I studied, we weren't trained in business. So it's nice to see there's some business units in courses today, but that's the biggest thing. So go out and see what business support is there for you. Look at what government programs might be with small business support, helping to establish a business. There's much more to it than just taking out a lease and opening the doors. You need to know what is involved. Registering with an ABN, registering for GST, getting the legal matters in order. There's a lot involved in running a business, so engage with the business resources that are out there to find out how to run a business. There's an awful lot involved in running a practice you don't know about when you graduate. It's not good enough to be just a good clinician, though that's really, really important. You have to have the business side of it covered, and you have to become a really good communicator. So if you're nervous talking to groups of people, develop some public speaking skills. Because a great thing to do is to get out and engage with the community. Find opportunities so that the community knows who you are, rather than just a name on a business card or a website. You want to stand out from the crowd. You want to stamp your personality on your practice. Who are you? What do you stand for? And take away that mystery of what is an acupuncturist, what's a Chinese medicine practitioner. Let the community see up front. Have a talk. Ask some questions. It's a great way to demystify what you do. Well, when I first started out, the first thing I did was establish a database of all the doctors in the area. Wrote them a letter introducing myself, letting them know that if they ever had an interest in referring to this type of medicine, that I was a qualified ethical practitioner and be happy to receive the referrals. Let people know you're there and establish those professional referral networks from the very beginning. That was the first step. And of course, then in those days, you'd take out an ad in the local newspaper. Today, perhaps, that isn't the most relevant. Well, it still has some value, but today, web-based advertising is very important. Having a good, effective web page and good search engine optimization is probably the most important thing today. Never worked from home. I never thought that was a good idea. One of my objectives throughout my professional engagement is the mainstreaming of acupuncture in the health field. And doctors don't work from home, so why would I work from home? So I took rooms in a medical centre. And I rented a room in a medical centre at the time, which the opportunity was there. And I started out very simply establishing myself. And then as the practice developed, I then took a lease of my own. Shared expenses is the first one. There's a lot of fixed costs in establishing a practice, and if you're solely responsible for them, you need deep pockets. So a shared practice environment allows you to share those establishment costs and takes a lot of financial pressure off. But it also removes one of the risks of professional isolation. It's not an easy job when you're working on your own the whole time. Working in a group practice gives you the opportunity to share your thoughts with other practitioners and have a collegial atmosphere. Well, the approach to treatment, I think, is altered because of the demand from the consumer has changed. When I first started practice in 1988, we would see what we call the medical rejects. They'd been everywhere, they'd done everything, and nothing worked. Any possible risk of any undiagnosed disease has been removed because they've had it all. And so really, the fact that we could still help many of these people was remarkable. Today, we are seeing people sooner and sicker. We're seeing people who have not necessarily been through an exhaustive medical diagnostic process yet. So we have to be more on the ball, looking out for red flags, taking a more proactive role in helping them find the right health solution for them, whether it be solely with us or in conjunction with the rest of the healthcare team. Because that puts a big responsibility on our shoulders to remember that first and foremost we're health professionals, and only second are we acupuncture or Chinese medicine practitioners. That we've got that role as a primary contact health professional to make sure we're always meeting the best needs of the patient. So you've got to keep broad knowledge, engage with trends in conventional healthcare as well as trends in your own profession. So, for example, I subscribe to Medscape website, an excellent American website which collates the latest research in conventional care, and you can put in your interest area. If it's natural medicine, alternative medicine, they'll send you feeds on latest research in the area, and this can keep you abreast of medical trends, and of course engaging with seminars in your own profession. So you need to keep a foot in both camps quite clearly. Yes, well, when we finally realised that graduating meant having to start a business, it became very clear we needed skills in that area. And at the time, my wife and I realised we were going to do a tag team. I was going to focus on the profession and she was going to focus on running a business. And so she did some training in bookkeeping and actually got a job in other businesses to understand how other businesses work. So at the time, that is how we went about it. Today, fortunately, there are certificate courses at TAFEs and the like which do give business training skills, which is fantastic. The most challenging problem is your own confidence, because suddenly you're not working in a student clinic. Real people of the real community are paying real money to come and see you for your help. And so it's that transition from student to independent clinician and realising your responsibilities, and that's very important responsibility.